it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another of my Advent series. Today's project is this one. It's a little box for Tealights. I am, as many of you know, getting ready for a number of craft fairs that I have coming up, and this is one of the items that I will be selling on my craft fair at my craft stall, or something approaching English. Anyway, so let me just take this to pieces and show you what it is. I mean, it's clearly for Tealights. It's a little box and it holds 3 Tealights, and then I've got window sheet that goes on the inside of the box, and it's a snug fit, but it's a good fit. Famous last words, of course. I'm now not going to be able to get it back in. There we go. Hurrah. So, and I'm using the Christmas Around the World Designer Series paper, and that's really driven my colour scheme. Although I say that, what's driven my colour scheme is these Tealights, which I got from our local Wilko. I think in some parts of the country it may be called Wilkinson, but they are standard size Tealights. So this is one of the Tealights. Let me grab, I have a selection of Tealights. This is a Sainsbury's Tealight, and this is an IKEA Tealight. So it's a standard diameter. The difference is going to be the height. So if I show you the difference between a Sainsbury's and an IKEA, and then between a Wilko and an IKEA, these are pretty much the same size. This is definitely shallower, but they are the same diameter. So I think I would stick to the same measurements regardless, because an IKEA Tealight will fit in there. There's more than enough height. So it's a fairly standard Tealight box. These I really liked the idea of because they're cinnamon spice, and they are actually a really nice soft cinnamon. They're nothing too... Sometimes they can be a bit... Ugh. Anyway, Procrastination City, here we go. I've used this paper from the Christmas Around the World. Remember, as I say, this is part of the designer series buy 3 get a 4th free offer that's on until the 31st of October, so Tuesday. So it's got real, you know, useful plaid on the other side, and this, for this particular sheet, the nutcrackers on the, what I would call the A side. And I thought that kind of went with either of the reds. So that was really what drove that. And I paired it with Garden Green, because Garden Green is in the colour scheme. So I've got a piece of Garden Green, a piece of window sheet, and 2 pieces of designer series paper. All the measurements are over on my blog, so don't worry about those, but just so you have got them. The box measures 4.5 by 1.5 by 3/4 of an inch deep. The window sheet is 6 by 3. The card is just a smidge larger, so that's 6 1/16 by 3 1/16. Then the designer series paper, this was a 2-inch strip that I just cut for the whole length, and then I chose just one side, and I've cut, so we've got 6 inches, because I cut it in half, chose one of those pieces and then cut that down to 1.5 inches, so that's 6 by 2, that's 6 by 1.5. I will try and do conversion to metric for you with my magic tape measure, but some of the measurements may come out a bit weird, and I'll try and round them for you. So let's get started. The only other things I'm adding is a piece of ribbon and some little tiny bits of snowflake, the metallic snowflakes, which are in the Autumn Winter catalogue, as is the designer series paper. The ribbon is from the main catalogue, but you get 24 of the metallic snowflakes, half in silver and half in gold, and they're really lovely soft tones. They're not too brassy or in your face. Anyway, so let's get on. It's 5 minutes and I have done absolutely nothing so far. So let's start with the scoring board. And just see if you can get it in. Now this is one of these ones I'm going to go all the way around at the same measurement. Scoring acetate or window sheet is a bit of a battle, but I'm scoring at 3/4 of an inch, and I'm really having a go at it because it will fight you every step of the way. But you just have to show it who's boss. So while I'm doing this, as I say, I'm scoring at 3/4 of an inch the whole way round. So remember that the designer series paper offer ends on Tuesday, as does the Merry Patterns stamp set, which you can get for free with an order of £250 or more. And obviously you can club together with some friends to do that, so long as it all goes through as one order. Or alternatively, I'll come back and do burnishing and stuff. Garden green, and again, this is the slightly bigger than 6x3 piece, and I'm going around at 3/4 of an inch again. So the alternative to placing a £250 order at my online store is to place a £25 order at my online store, because for each £25 you spend with me until the end of the month, you get an entry into my draw for one of, I think I've got 3 so far, and I've got possibly some more coming. So 3 sets of the Merry Patterns stamp set. So do please just pop over to my online store, place an order for £25 or more, and for every £25 you place, you will get an entry into my draw. Right, so all I'm going to do with this is cut, and I'm going to cut at the corners, and I'm going to keep the long edge in kind of... I'm going to cut into the long edge, I think is what I'm trying to say, not very well. And then I'm going to cut away the score and wedge the corner. So I'm going to do that at each of the corners. So cut away the score and just wedge. And this is just so that we get a nice neat finish on our corners. So thank you all those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I was hoping for 2,000 subscribers by my birthday on the 1st of November, and I'm over 2,100. I think I'm 2,130 or something like that at the moment. Can't see my window sheet. There we are. Right. So this you really have to have a go at. So you need to continue to force it to do what you want. This is one of the very few occasions that I would say, having scored it, continue in the same direction. So rather than bending towards the mountain, just continue with your valley, and I would press it first before you go over with the bone folder, and then I will talk to you about where I would burnish on the bone folder. So just start it going in the right direction, and then you want to keep the burnishing on the short edge rather than the bit in the middle, because just in case you scratch the window sheet, at least doing it this way, you will be scratching the bit that is going to be hidden. And then again. So yes, so thank you very much for those of you who have subscribed. I hope you are enjoying watching my videos. I'm certainly getting some very positive feedback, for which many thanks. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. There's part of me that now says I want 2,200 subscribers by my birthday, which I know is an ask, but if you don't ask, you don't get, my mother always used to say. Right, I'm going to cut away these corners, and I'm going to, it's nigh on impossible, I'm going to try and do it over the card because it'll be a little bit easier to see, and I apologise because you probably won't be able to see this because it's window sheet. But trust me when I say I'm just cutting away these corners. And I can actually see that I have scratched the surface by burnishing it. So absolutely reiterate, burnish on this bit, not on this bit. It doesn't matter too much if you cut a little bit too much away because it is going to go into the corner of the box, but you don't want to go too mad. Ooh, radio silence, mustn't do that, it's not good. So we've been having weird weather again. It's been quite warm. It's been lovely actually. We've had the fun of locally having power cuts. They were sort of planned. That wasn't much fun. Right, so I'm going to put fast fuse on all of the tabs. Really must clean my fast fuse. This is one I have refilled and refilled and refilled, and it's getting a bit gooey, which is never good. You don't want a gooey fast fuse. But remember, the key to fast fuse is a light touch. If you put too much pressure on, you just get in a mess. And then you just want to break the tape. Now, generally, we would go on the inside, and generally we're going to do that again, just because we're putting this box together in a slightly different way. So the lid is in effect going on the bottom, I guess, or on the inside. I don't know quite how you describe it, but it's, yeah. So that's that, and this just slips into, it's got a life of its own, just slips into the box. Now this is the moment where if it doesn't quite fit, you can trim down. Yeah, I've not cut the corners quite right, so I'll just trim those down a little bit more. I was slightly the wrong side of the score line. It's not so easy to see on the window sheet, so do just wedge a wee bit. There we go. And there we are. Beautiful. Right, okay, so now we take that out again, pop our candles in. Now, I know some of you were very worried that when I did my video earlier in the week, I had card round the candle. The title of the video was kind of the clue, and I think I did say, don't light the candle with the card round it. Now, you could, if you wanted, punch some circles and put circles of designer series paper on top of your candles, but I don't want to frighten you again, so I won't do that. Right, so for this, what I did with the previous one is found where I wanted my heads, because we've got heads here. So that's kind of where I want what I want on the top, and I've just worked from there. So I will start my fold. Let's line those up. Start my fold sort of there-ish. Probably best actually to just add a little bit of fast fuse down the back. I'm going to regret that. Just realised why I'm going to regret that, but it's fine, we'll get round it. So, do that, and then you've got only one piece to worry about. And the reason I said I'm going to regret that is because I now want to add my little bits of Billy Don't. And of course I've now got fast fuse there. but it's fine because I can just tuck them in. Or let's see, actually, let's just see. You should never try and do these things on the fly. Right, so that's where I want my my snowflakes, between those two lines. So I'm just going to add a bit more fuse there and there, and then I can pop my snowflakes on before I do all the folding. See, love it when a plan comes together. There we are. Right, okay. Whew, panic over. Right, so fold, 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 trim. So I'm just going to trim this. This will be the bit that goes underneath. So trim that off. Now, the key to a belly band is to make sure it can actually get on and off your box. So my suggestion is that you put it at the end of your box and then stick it together, because this is going to be the toughest bit to get round because it's solid. So if you wrap it round the edge of your box and don't go too tight, then it will slide on and off without any problem. And then just add a little bit of extra. I'll put it on here. No, I will use dots. Glue dots. Pokey tool. There we go. Piercing tool. Should call it a piercing tool. One. Oh, and I picked up another one with my thumb. Two. So that neatens that off. So that's our basic front. Just get those well creased. And what you can do is just slide it off and crease, reinforce those creases so they're a nice crisp crease. And then just slide your belly band back on, give it a spin round. Then the only other thing we need to do is tie our bow, and I do one of my lazy bunny ear bows. And just tie that into a nice bow, then adjust the ends. So yes, they've been rewiring our village. We are prone to power cuts, and they just tend to happen with no warning at all. So they've suddenly realised that it would be a good idea if they put a better circuit in. So they've chosen this week, and we've had some planned power cuts and quite a lot of unplanned power cuts because they've had generators in, and the generator, certainly for our bit of the village, has not been very happy, and it's been going on strike quite a lot. So that was fun. So I've had 2 days where I've basically not been able to do anything because there's not been light or power, which when you post things on the internet is not terribly helpful. But they assure us that it's now all fixed, so fingers crossed we will get fewer power cuts now. Believe it when it happens. So there you are. I think on a craft stool those would be really attractive. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Do give it a go. You can get three out of one sheet of cardstock. This is what I've got left from my piece of cardstock so far. So I can get another one out of this. Plus I've got this left, which will make some lovely tags because it's wide enough to get tags out of with the tag topper, because it's just over 2 inches. That's 2 inches. And of course I've only used 4 inches of a piece of designer series paper. And you can change it up to suit the colour of your candles. So yeah, I think that would make a really nice, as I say, craft show item, or a tree gift, or a teacher gift, those sorts of things. And just choose tea lights that you like or that are in your budget. So I hope you enjoyed it. As I say, if you did, give it a thumbs up. Do hit subscribe. There's a list of the items that I've used over on my online store. So all you need to do there is, oh sorry, on my blog. So all you need to do there is just click on the picture of the item you want, and you'll go straight to my online store and be able to order that way. And do remember that both this and the Be Merry, not Be Merry, yes, Be Merry, she says, trying to find it, designer series paper, are both, maybe Merry designer series paper has gone for a walk, but they are both on the buy 3 get 1 free. So do that. Just if you do that, if you've got other papers that you want to buy that aren't the Christmas ones, make sure that you put your cheapest items in as the ones you choose, that you pay for, and then the more expensive one as the one that you have for free, because the system allows you to do that. So there are some 6x6 papers that you can choose, which are £9, and there's also the Inside the Lines specialty designer series paper, which is £11.75, £25, one or the other, but is the more expensive, and these are £10. So do bear that in mind, that you get to choose the most expensive one as your free item. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!